Yes, and we're back with the Celtic. My name is Ryan Clifford, and I'm joined by Mr. Alan Stirling. It's not Stephen Henshaw, it is Alan. And yes, it is a bit uncharted waters for us. It's at 6 o'clock, just after 6 tonight. A bit earlier as it stands tonight. Alan, how are you, mate? Glad to have you on. A lot to go through tonight, mate. Obviously, Joe Hart retires and a lot of other things to go through. So, how are you, mate?
Very well. Nice week, so looking forward to Sunday's match. Very positive and hope for the best. The Henshaw thing, I thought this was a kind of tap idolised with Olivier Jam, maybe. I'm not saying I look like Olivier Jam, but aye, that was that kind of talk. But I'm very well, and I hope yourselves and everyone that's watching is having a good day.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Obviously, the negativity is kind of getting a wee bit away this week. We're obviously looking forward to the game now on Sunday. I like to think the podcast on the other night was quite no positive, but it was good to see exactly where we are feeling. And I hope anybody who hasn't seen that, with Barry and myself, William and JP, it was a very good kind of detailed analysis of how we're kind of not doing well at the moment. And hopefully Sunday, Alan, we can get that sorted. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm hopeful and confident of a victory. We shouldn't be feeding Motherwell. Let's be fair. Let's just put it out there. It's no disrespect to Motherwell. Celtic should not be going to Fir Park and be fearful. We've got to be confident. We're the champions as it stands still, and hopefully that's the same at the end of the season, Alan. But just before we obviously start the podcast, if you are new to the podcast, or if you're just as usual, you're one of us, you're in here all the time. This podcast is sponsored by AB Entertainment. That is the main number. You can get Alex on, and it is AB Entertainment. It's a Mr. Alex Beveridge, and the number is 07845 746 092. Alex does karaoke, bingo, any live function events. Alex is your man. There's another photo there if you want to get him on the bottom numbers. You can get him on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. He is really, really busy, starting up to... There's a lot of communions, obviously, during the year and stuff, so his diary is getting quite full up. So I'd imagine you'd be better off getting in really soon. But that's the number again, AB Entertainment. You can get him on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and also you can get his Alex on us as well by us if you don't want to contact Alex himself. Also as well, if you have any Celtic memorabilia, or if you do want to get any Celtic framed memorabilia, you can contact MCM Framing Services and Memorabilia, Hoops Memorabilia, and you can get them on that number there. You get them on Facebook as well. It's MCM Framing on Facebook. You can get them on there as well. Very good service. And also any jerseys you want framed, I'd imagine, even if it's not Celtic, I'd imagine MCM Framing will help you out. Well, Alan, the first topic of conversation is Joe Hart. Came out obviously saying he's retired at the end of the season. I think you could possibly say you can see it coming in terms of maybe not playing with Celtic anymore. It's number one, but we didn't obviously expect the retirement. For me, Joe Hart has been a fantastic signing for Celtic. He came to Celtic when we needed leadership, we needed a bit of experience and a rebuild. A stick on number one. For me, Joe Hart's been brilliant all his career, and maybe the other manager says he wasn't good with his feet or he wasn't good at this, good at that. But I think overall, for me, Joe Hart's been fantastic. Maybe he's had to adapt to come and play the way Celtic play, obviously, with Man City. Had to adapt as well. Guardiola says, no, we can't do it. Go somewhere else. We brought him under Ange, and it was one of Ange's first signings with the looks at him and McCarthy. And for me, I don't think, as much as we say he's not been great here and there, and maybe see the age was maybe start to kick on a wee bit, but overall, Alan, he's been a massive positive to the club. He's a massive experience behind the dressing room for the players. He's really kind of liked for the fans in terms of his character, and you can tell that he loves the club. And you can really see last year, Alan, the cup final at the end of the season, and he was kind of looking about and kind of taking stock of the celebrations at the end. That I think he's really loved here, and he knows that he's settled here, but obviously his body or maybe his mind, he's maybe thought it's time to call it a day. Hopefully potentially can maybe come as a coach or stay around at the club in some capacity, but by all accounts, he maybe want to take stock his career, then kind of go from there. But overall, Alan, what's your thoughts on Joe Hart? For me, he's been a massive part of what we've done recently, success, and we've been a continued success, take away one bad season. He's been a massive part of Celtic the last two years, and hopefully we can, as Greg Taylor says, we can end it the right way at the end of the season.
Oh, Joe Hart's been an incredible signing. He's had a phenomenal career. When you look at the clubs he's played with in England and abroad, and you look at the kind of England caps he's had as well, he was England #1 for a number of years. Was with Man City when it was the kind of when they started bringing in the kind of investment and the money. So, but his career has been second to none. It's a fantastic career. He's came to Celtic in a kind of later age, but the experience, I think you're spot on there. The experience that he's brought in to the squad, the dressing room, the team as a whole, that is massively influential. All the different younger players. I don't know yet. No,
I don't think so, Francis. I don't think so, mate.
Are you fancy one, Ferrari? No, he's been a great addition to the squad and the kind of dressing room, as I say. You look like he's won kind of 5 trophies with Celtic to date. Hopefully we can add another 2 to that this season. But the kind of input he's had, the experience-wise, I think that's been massively essential to kind of help out the likes of kind of Cal McGregor, Carter Vickers as that experience side, because I think that's a lot of what will be lacking. That kind of older head in the dressing room, older head in the team. So we can always thank Joe. I think it's father time. I know we look at the kind of likes of Craig Gordon, where he's playing to 40, 41. Buffon as well, playing to a kind of later age. But with the sounds of that interview, I got the feeling that he was kind of wanting more family time. I don't know if I'm kind of way off the mark there, but it was just like what I've read as well, that his family does they stay in Glasgow, Scotland, they still stay down south. So I don't know if he's just kind of came to that conclusion that he wants to finish. Obviously, a top club with Celtic, and know what he can down the leagues, and he can spend more valuable time with his family. But here's hoping that we can bring in a ready replacement. There's no excuses this time. This is February, so we've got to September. But knowing this kind of transfer model, the recruitment team and the board, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the end of September, the start of September, last minute loan move for Scott Carson or something, because that's what we've been expecting the last wee while. So surprises, Celtic, please, and have something ready, and have somebody that we've actually scouted, and we know that it's a correct replacement for Joe Hart, because there's plenty of time for that to happen anyway.
Aye, again, good evening to everybody that's joined us. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a bit early, and no, me and Aaron, Francis, we're not going out and on the sauce. We're just a bit early tonight, get it out early, and then enjoy our weekends, and hopefully we get a good result to match that for everybody else. But no, I agree with Aaron what you said there. I think the biggest thing was experience and know-how to come in and continue the success, and really have a stick on number one, because Barkas was the number one, Scott Bain's the number one. So we've not really had a number one, Connor Hazard, etc. We've not really had a proper number one for a while. So for him to come in and be the number one was, for me, brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic when he came in, especially the first season. It was actually just a really good shock to see a goalkeeper again that could actually be good with his feet and save goals, save shots. So
stand in the middle of his goal.
Aye, stand in the middle of his goal.
That's always a bonus.
Aye, so for me, Alan, Joe Hart will have a big part in the Celtic history in terms of the last few years and what he's done. And again, he's part of a treble team. He's part of a team that's won the game in Champions League. As much as for me, I don't really like to talk about the game he won this year because it meant nothing. But it's still a good thing to add to to take that record away from us that we didn't have for a while. So, but also, like you're saying about the board and the recruitment staff, etc., if we do not go and get a solid number one that's a very, very good goalkeeper in the summer, then major questions will be asked again. Again, people might ask, who do we want or who do you think? Again, I'm not really going to leave that down to the recruitment team, because I think a few of the recruitment team will be away in the summer, no matter what happens in the window in the league. Because for me, I just can't see how Alan, some of the guys can continue when realistically, I don't want to say they've failed as their job, but realistically, they've no stepped up to the mark of the job that of a Celtic recruitment staff should be. People might say I'm saying they're failing here, but I don't really want to say the words exactly, because they are still obviously professional people, but realistically they've not done the best of their jobs for what they've obviously been told to do by Brendan. And for me, Alan, obviously, talking about the recruitment staff, I don't know if this is a wee dig, if anybody can see that. Obviously, the PLC intern report came out today. The one bit I seen it was highlighted was we were unable to further add to the squad due to the unavailability of identified targets. This was disappointing to us all and never the intention. The January transfer window is obviously notoriously difficult, as clubs are very reluctant to let the best players go at such a crucial time of the season, just as we are. Indeed, we've resisted strong interest from our players, from other clubs. It is notable that transfer activity in England was the lowest it has been for over 10 years. Excluding the impact of COVID-19, a number of reasons why, obviously, that's reasons why it's not been the January window that they wanted, Alan. For me, Alan, I think that's an excuse. Again, maybe they're blaming the recruitment team, saying that we've obviously gave them money to go and spend, and they've not got that to the manager. They've not gotten good players. Brendan does say he's been giving players, and he thought they were not adequate. For me, Alan, I think it's an excuse. I think it's just because they know that if we don't win the league, that's going to be a part of the excuses. And yes, Francis, talking about that, us ourselves, we were actually going to go to that yesterday. We did get invited, but myself, Alan and JP, we couldn't make it due to other circumstances and work commitments, but unfortunately we couldn't get there, so we don't know the details of it, Alan. Francis, we do know there was a meeting by the Celtic Trust, but we don't know what it was about until we got there, but we don't actually know what went on, Alan. Sorry, Francis. So, but Alan, on that, mate, what's your thoughts?
Oh, it's an excuse. And I think they're being foolish if we kind of see through the kind of paragraphs that they've written. They're overstating the new contracts for the players like Carter Vickers, Hitati, Kyogo, who else was it? Ralston, O'Reilly, aye. So they're overstating that. Well. Aye. They're trying to make excuses with that. They're saying, oh, we've not signed anybody, right? We're Glasgow Celtic. If we wanted that striker for Brøndby, if we really wanted that, we couldn't go and say, add another $1 million on and say, here, in a club like Brøndby, would they accept that? You've got to be kidding yourself on, like players like Matt O'Reilly, right? We heard that for Sky Sports that it was a kind of low ball offer for Atletico Madrid. That's probably the reason that it's been rejected. No, because they wanted to keep the team together. If the valuation that Matt O'Reilly holds on behalf of the kind of recruitment team or the Celtic board was met in January, I've got no doubt that would have been taken up. I've got no doubt we would have accepted that offer, because money speaks volumes in football, and if we can't go and get the players we want, then we need to be more ambitious, whether that be kind of financially or who we're looking at. But nah, the kind of excuses they've came across me doesn't fly with me. If they're saying they've rejected deals, I think that's probably aimed at Matt O'Reilly, possibly Abada. And now we're realising that Abada isn't happy at the club for whatever reasons that may be. But it's all just a kind of mirage to make sure that the board and the recruitment team look decent. I think everybody can see beyond that. There's there's no point in kind of getting into it further. We know how much of a mess the kind of transfer windows have been over the last 3 or 4. It's just an absolute shambles. So I think the board, and that's maybe what that meeting was for. I think there's another one scheduled for next week. So the board has to take a bit of kind of blame for that. They need to take it to the chin as well, the recruitment team, etc., whoever it is, because the business we've done with regards to players kind of coming in the recent transfer windows has been kind of far from acceptable. We're continuing along the same transfer model that we see is acceptable because the likes of Jota, etc., left for profits. But Brendan blatantly said that it needed quality. I read along the lines that it was quality and experience. And us bringing in all these kind of young players for maybe $1 million, $2 million at a time, it's obviously not working. We need a couple of experienced players. When you're looking at kind of last year, we read something today, it was like Aaron Moy coming in. We knew we weren't going to make any profit off this guy, but you knew what he could bring to the team. You knew what he could bring to the squad. When you look in past years, Paul Hartley maybe, Stephen Presley with Gordon Strachan, you knew these guys weren't going to have a sell-on value, but they brought a specific thing to the team and they made us kind of winners. So we need to get out of the kind of transfer model we're in at the minute. I know it was successful at the start, but we're seeing this year that the majority of the players that's been brought in over the last kind of 3 or 4 windows, we're going to lose massive amounts of money on them, never mind gain anything. So there is something drastically wrong. As I said at the start, I want to stay kind of positive on this weekend because I think it's a must that we get these 3 points and start getting back to a good performance. But I'm not want to delve into that statement too much because it gets me kind of more angry every time you look and hear for anything for the board or anything within Celtic. I was surprised there wasn't a birthday message or something coded with that today. So that's the kind of carry on you expect. But the more you speak about it, the more intense and the more angry you get. So the less we say, probably the better on my behalf.
And last bit of negativity, shall we say, is obviously that's what counts. If anybody can actually see that on the screen, the key operating items: 14 home fixtures, participation in Champions League, securing 4 points. The new development at Barrowfield, the revenue was up by 11% to 85.2. Profit trading was 32 million. Profit from players was up 2.6. And profit before taxation was 30.3. Acquisition of players at 12.9. And at the moment, Alan, we're sitting with £69.3 million in the bank. And we got a loan striker from Norwich. Kick off, mate.
And basically, I've not read into it in depth and I'm no any kind of business analysis to any means. But basically, it's saying that we're planning on spending the best part of 20 or 30 million on the Barrowfield thing because we've made 32 million profit, it's saying this year. So the money in the bank went from 73 million to down to that 67 million, whatever it is. So we are saying that we're spent. They say on the statement that a significant amount of money has been put aside for the Barrowfield investment. So, it's just why would we have all that kind of substantial money in the bank when it's not on the field? You're looking at there was a part of that statement, and I could say it again, but basically Peter Law was saying that he agrees with the fans that there should have been more money put in when that excessive amount sitting there in profit. It's not going to wash. You're looking at the even Kuhn as well. You're looking at that. If you can address everything back as well, who is it that we've actually got in this recruitment team? Now, if we are going to bring in successful kind of players and successful young players that we hope to bring on and kind of make profits in the future from, we need to have the right people picking them. So you'd be looking at that we'd need to push out the boat and bring in the right personnel for the recruitment team to start with. And obviously that's not there at present. Far from it. Because you're looking at the kind of last 3 or 4 transfer windows, as we've said numerous times, it's like Groundhog Day. There's none of them kind of making a solid, consistent impact in the first 11. When we've got our first 11, we've got a full selection of our first team squad. The first 11's though going to have maybe 1, 2 tops signings for the last kind of 2 years that are getting into that first 11. That just screams out that it's been a failure and a disaster with regards to the transfer model, the recruitment team and the board as a whole. So there needs a drastic change, whether that be kind of model, personnel, or whatever that may be, because as we can all see at the minute on the park, and we can all see with the players that's been brought in, there's something drastically wrong at Celtic at present.
I think I can agree with you, Alan. In terms of, we all knew certain positions that we had to strengthen, and not just strengthen, really good quality. Be that, like I say, we kind of gave the goalkeeping position a wee bit of a takeaway back for at least a season, because you know Joe Hart's still decent for this season, but ideally you'd have liked another goalkeeper to challenge him or take the mantle number 1. Left back, criminal. Not to get a left back was absolutely criminal. And we all knew we needed another top striker to help Kyogo. And then obviously maybe another winger, a top winger, or another midfielder to help bolster that as well. But I think for me, Alan, it's like he says, I think it's not obviously buying players is what we want and more quality on the park. But the biggest thing for me is I think the full club, personally, in my opinion, needs a restructure. Be that at the academy level and obviously the board level, recruitment level, everything, in my opinion, Alan, needs to be looked at in the summer. Be that we win the league or we don't, or what. If we go this season trophy-less, that's going to be an unbelievable. It's going to be an absolute disaster at the end of the season by the fans, and we all know what's going to happen in the season if that happens. So let's just be positive, like you said, try and be positive. But when you see that type of money kicking about behind the scenes and we're getting loan players from Norwich again, it's not on Adam either. It's not on him. It's on the recruitment team not doing their job properly. But for me, Alan, like you're talking about, if we want to get young guys progressing, so we don't need to go and spend big money sometimes, i.e. like Kieran Tierney, they need to help the academy boys. Does Darnell D, I know, don't get me wrong, I think they started bad this year, the youth team, the B team, but they're slowly, gradually they've got into a good position in the league, ain't they? 3rd or 4th or something now, they've got up a wee, obviously, but they can't win anything. So they're just really playing 90 minutes in development and that's it. They're no point to win trophies because they can't win a trophy. It's, for me, which is crazy. But for me, they need to step back in that. Like, I don't think we mentioned about last week or 2 weeks ago. Did they maybe need to get a foreign coach in, like a German coach or a Spanish coach? Somebody to come in with maybe new ideas, new cultures, just to make it a bit more modernised, but to maybe help McManus, to help OD, or maybe they go away and bring a full new academy coaches in, because something's got to change, because we're not getting anybody in through the academy that's going to come in and play right away. It's all right seeing the boy Frame might come in and get some minutes. Vata might get some minutes. Kelly's on the bench. But they're on the bench. They're not actually playing. They're nowhere near the first team in terms of coming in and starting there. Guys like Bernaby. Guys like who are not really, even young. Guys who are not on the fringes. Quan's away on loan to St Mirren. You'd like to think you've got a young guy in the academy that you maybe spend £2 or £3 million on a year to come and kind of maybe take over. The last one's McGregor, Ralston. When was your last proper academy player, Welsh, that came through and thought, wow, he's good, he's going to come and play with Celtic? There's none really since Welsh. KT, Welsh, Ralston, McGregor. And that's gone back 4, 5, 6 years ago. The
last one that was decent goes to Liverpool. You're talking about Ben Doak. But again, he's not here. So we produced him and then he's sold on. I don't mind, Aaron,
doing that, right? But see, as long as you're getting a massive sell-on fee or something at the end of it where you know the guy's going to be good, then you can go, right, okay, you've done that business, right, let's get the next guy on. But there's no conveyor belt. I know how hard it is, Alan, to get guys into football now. You've seen yourself, Alan, you've seen guys just not playing anymore, no want to play because there's no an objective to go and play football anymore. There's no pathway, and I can get that. But we need to have a pathway. As much as it's hard to put guys in when you try to go and lift trophies and go for cups and qualify for Europe, but they need to fit in somewhere. You need to try and get them in. You need to develop them somewhere. If it means sending them out to a Kilmarnock or whatever and then bring them back, instead of sending them out to championship, boatmen championship clubs, put them somewhere where they're going to actually develop, in my opinion. But I think you're spot on, Aaron. There's things need to change, be that recruitment level, board level, academy level. I think the club's got to change. I'm agreeing with you. Especially the European side, the model's gone. There's no plan in place. And it seems to be now after what we said in the podcast the other day with William, and he kind of highlighted that he basically thought there's no plan at the moment with Celtic in terms of recruitment, in terms of on the park. And for me, I'm agreeing. And it's a good point that John says as well. The boys that went to Bayern Munich have done nothing. Spot on, John. Obviously, since then, I think one went to Queen's Park. I think Lee Morrison went to Queen's Park. I think he's back at Bayern Munich now. I don't know where he went after that. So it just shows you Barry Hepburn as well. So they're positioning them, but how good are they? How good are these boys? Is it due to the coaching, Aaron, or do you think they need better coaches in to help them, or is it a total different coaching style of play they need to do to help these guys? For me, Aaron, I'm no a coach, I'm no an expert. I just think that whatever they need to do, it's going to be better. I could definitely put across ideas, but we could probably sit and do it on a podcast, Aaron, because we've not got all night to talk about it, what we could do. But for me, Aaron, there's got to be changes, I think, all around the club, even if that means win the league or we don't. I think there's going to be changes because there's only so long we can just scrape by leagues. Like I don't want to say scrape by leagues because there's no state by leagues the last few years, but in terms of there's only so long the recruitment can go like this until we eventually don't win anything.
I think it's kind of being naive across the board. I think as a whole, whether that be the kind of management or the board, I think we thought to ourselves, the board's thought to ourselves, we're good enough to win this league. We're good enough to kind of dominate Scottish football. We don't need to spend that much. I've said for a number of months about the kind of the scattergun approach, throwing darts at a board and hoping that they stick. So the amount of players that we've got for kind of Korea, Japan, Australia, Sweden, etc., just all over the place. So we're just looking at young players and say, hopefully maybe 3 or 4 of them will become profitable and become good players, but it doesn't work like that. The board's been far too naive. We're not having any ambition. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. And I don't know how many times I've seen that, but that's what's happening at present. We've took an acceptance level to being just a wee bit further forward than what our rivals are. And now it's coming back to bite us. We've got the money in the bank. We've got the resources available to shoot far, far clear in this league and the cup competitions with regards to Scotland and even push forward in Europe. But we've not done that. We're sat with the money in the bank and we thought that we're still ahead. And now that's massively coming back to bite us. Still time in the season, we'll still get 12 games left, and hopefully with a couple of players coming back for injury this weekend, we'll delve into further. But hopefully that can kind of get our season back on track. But it's not the best look that we've just kind of we've got that kind of money in the bank and we've failed to kind of invest that properly. So it's not great. I just seen one of the comments there, but we were going to mention earlier. Got a good friend in Tenerife that does his own kind of sports roundup podcast named Webby. Webby Sports Roundup. Big shout out to him. Myself's going to be going over in a couple of weeks and we'll be doing one or two podcasts with him. Hopefully my good friend might join us, Ryan, but we'll see how that goes. But he can't get it off. So, I know. But aye, so we'll meet you out there, Webby, and hopefully we can catch up within your podcast and ours and build up a friendship. But big shout out for Webby.
Yep, fantastic, Alan. I you're spot on, Alan, in terms of what you've said there about obviously the failings or so-called failings at the club recently, or what they're not doing properly and what they should be doing right. But let's try and be positive. Let's get negative out of the way. That's us. The negative's done for the rest of the week. We're on to positivity. Sunday, away to Motherwell, Alan, 12 o'clock kickoff. Looking forward to the game. I'm hoping that Vickers and Johnson will play. Obviously, Fan just says that as well in his presser. What's your thoughts on that, Alan? Obviously, they coming back will be a boost. When will they start the game? I don't know, but it's just good to get them back in the squad.
No, it's fantastic. I think that's what we've been speaking about. The kind of experience that's needed and that kind of grit and determination as well. And they've been there. They've been there the last couple of seasons. Alistair Johnson slightly less, but they've been there as winners. So we're lacking that. We know we've got kind of Callum McGregor and maybe another couple in the team at present, but we need that kind of that winning mentality back in the squad in the first 11, definitely. As I spoke to yourself about the day, in an ideal world, we would let these guys kind of rest a bit and try and get themselves back to kind of full fitness and make sure that we're kind of bringing them in gradually. But we're not in an ideal world. At the minute, we need these players back. We need these players firing. And that's a certainty. I was very enthusiastic about the way Brendan spoke today about them. It sounds as if they'll be back into the first 11. The way I'm taking for that interview. So, I think the two of them will be back in and it'll be a massive, massive boost for us as a club and definitely with the first 11. It's massive, especially when we're looking at, we've been speaking about the last couple of weeks of how we've struggled to bring the ball forward, to break the lines with the defenders coming forward. Carter Vickers is massive in that behalf. He's probably the best we've seen in a while, maybe since Virgil van Dijk in that position, in my opinion. So it's a huge boost for us, and hopefully that'll stem onto the park and we can go forward and this will kickstart the season.
I think it's a must. It's a must that Vickers is obviously fit. I know we did mention during the week that if he wasn't, it'd be good to have Lagerbielke and Nerowski in. I still feel one of them should be playing. I don't feel Welsh or Scales should be anywhere near the 11 in my opinion. Me personally, playing Nerowski and Lagerbielke on the bench and take one of them out. If that means out the squad or whatever. Because for me, I don't feel they've earned to be playing. In my opinion, they've been really, really poor the last 2 or 3 games. And again, people said they played well against Midden, and me and you were like, well, they're slowing the ball. That it's the Hibs game is really shown, Alan, for me, that when you delve into the data that William gave us, and I know people say that, we all know by our eyes that we're not playing well and we're on a decline. But see, if you actually look at the data and analysis, you can see exactly what is going wrong. It's all right saying, I can see in my eyes. I'm the same, I can see it in my eyes. But see when you actually see and you delve into what we're actually doing wrong, it's schoolboy, Alan. It's basic defending and basic movement that we're not in. So hopefully, I'm not saying it's been rectified over a week of training, but hopefully the last few weeks in training, there's something that's obviously, hopefully, that's helped the team, obviously, this week to prepare for Sunday, because it's a massive game. And again, I'm no fearful of Motherwell. Again, that's no disrespect to him. We'll probably end up on a Motherwell podcast or something, but after this podcast. But realistically, we should be going to Motherwell full of confidence, going into the game to go and win the game. Motherwell have not had the best of recent form. I don't think they've had the odd game here and there. They've done well, but I think in terms of, was it start of the season they started well. But the form's been in and out, I think, under Kettlewell, and obviously he's signed on as well for a new contract. So they obviously feel he's the man to keep Motherwell ticking in the top 6 and maybe pushing for Europe eventually if that's their dreams and aspirations. But I don't see why. I know people will say, Ryan, why you've been too confident after what's been happening and all the negativity, but I still feel in that direction, Marlon, that there's a lot there still to hopefully push on the end of the season. McGregor's got a big job now. Joe Hart again, big job. Experienced guys who've been there, done it. Even Greg Taylor might not be biggest fan, but he's a senior member of the squad. He's been there and done it. You're more comfortable with him at left back than you are Bernabeu or anybody else in the squad. So you'd like to think, Alan, that I think, as Matt right says, Alan, I don't want to compliment any negativity, but if we don't get a result on Sunday, there will be questions asked of the squad, there will be questions asked of the manager, there will be a lot of media attention, there will be a lot of social media attention, and dare I say it, there'll be a few bad words about certain players or certain managers, etc. So we've got to get into this game with full confidence. I just hope the fans at the game, especially for 90 minutes, just back the team, which we always do. 90 minutes, praise the team, back the team, and then at the end, we'll see what happens at the end of the game. But just all positive as much as we can, Alan, and try and get 3 points.
Aye, there's no excuses anymore. We're behind the league now. We're bringing back 2 massively important players that possibly there was an excuse for before, Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnston. Greg Taylor's now kind of full match fitness as far as I'm aware. So the only player that's going to make a massive difference that's still missing would be Rio Hatate. So there's no excuses anymore. As you spoke about there, Motherwell started the season fantastically well, but they've had a dip in form. They're still a well-organised side that can always kind of give us problems. But you think with the quality and the calibre of players that we've got, with possession, we should be winning that game. Simple as. And let's not fool ourselves. The next 12 games are going to be like 12 cup finals. We need to make sure that every single one of these games are won. And with Motherwell kind of having a dip in form, we need to make sure that this weekend that we come back to a performance level that the Celtic fans are happy about. Because I think we can all kind of feel that kind of anxiety about the club, the fans, etc. You can see everything in social media. You can hear the reactions at full time. You can hear the reactions when there's a misplaced pass. It's starting to get slightly toxic. And this is probably the perfect opportunity with the players coming back and that we're playing Motherwell that's maybe no playing to the highest ability at present. This is a perfect opportunity for us to put a kind of performance together that can get the confidence back for the whole club, and we can put a good performance and maybe a decent win together. Obviously, the most important thing is that we get the next 12 wins, but that kind of that confidence that would come from a great performance, I think would bode really well for the rest of the season, because I think that's what's missing now. We need to put a couple of performances together and let the fans know and show the fans that we're capable of that, because at the minute, I think we're all anxious that we're not seeing that at present. So I think this weekend could be absolutely massive. And here's hoping that we can, with the 2 important players back, that we can perform in the ability that we all know we can.
I think that's a big thing, Alan. It's obviously the results. It's not been the end of the world, the results. I think it's 8 wins, a defeat, a 2 draws or something. When about that type of form, it's not been the ultimate of disasters, but in terms of the league table, it has been because we've went from, I think it was near potential 13 to 11 to 8, down to obviously now -2. And I think the performance levels have not really changed. There's been wee flashes here and there in certain games. There was flashes in the St Mirren game. There was tiny wee bits in the first half against Hibs. First half Aberdeen was decent. Aberdeen was okay, just again no clinical enough. But I think Sunday, I'm hoping the gradual wee small build-ups that we've been talking about can hopefully come together, because, like I say, Alan, as much as I want us to win games, right, and I want us to win, I'm I'm happy winning 1-0, right? I get that. If you win 1-0, you win the league. But you can't be winning games 1-0 or 2-1 every game, and it's just scraping by. It can't just be all right last-minute goals or a last-minute penalty. And as much as we've made the divine right to win football games, you want us to start playing a bit more better football. I know William, his analysis during the week on the latest podcast was that Celtic are actually playing the ball quick. It's actually deceivingly quick when you think about it. The data tells you that it's quick. By all accounts from my eyes, it's no, but the data's telling you they're actually no far off playing the way Ange was playing, but it's just the passes going forward. There's nothing going forward. It's all going back for like Ralston, Scales, Welsh in the last game to Hart. It's just constantly going from middle to back. It's not going forward, and we need to try and create the Croatian goalkeeper.
He's away. Lavakovic.
Aye, he was very good. Again, he was linked to his. I'd imagine.
He went to Turkey, did he?
I think was it no Fenerbahce or Galatasaray?
Fenerbahce.
For me, Scott, again, there's no smoke without fire. It probably was linked on the recruitment team. I don't know, but 9 times out of 10, as much as I like to lambast the media about their headlines, 9 times out of 10 in terms of media, agents put things out, but there's always something to do with. There's no always smoke without a bit of fire, Alan. So there's always. That's what I'm saying about our recruitment. In the summer, we were linked with Fabian Rieder, the boy, the centre back from Holland. I can't mind his name. I'm not going to do Dutch names, but I know who he is.
I know you're talking about.
We were linked to the boy from Brøndby, the striker, and we were linked with somebody else, Daniel Podence. So that's maybe telling you that the four players roughly might have been the guys that you wanted, because especially the Fabian Rieder one, it didn't go away. I know they were asking for top dollar, but that's no. I need to say, 9 times out of 10 when the media put something out, it's either the agents putting it or it's an actual link. And for me, it was coming from guys who get information for Celtic, like Keith Jackson, the boy, Scott Burns put the odd one or two, McGibbon put the odd one or two as well. So these guys are reasonable sources that are out there putting information out. So it's not just a daft column. It's an actual guys that know about the clubs. So for me, Alan, we need to be positive for Sunday. As much as we've been negative to the first part of this, it's just come through bits that have been happened, and you've got to highlight it. We've had the negativity during the week. Let's just try over the weekend, be positive. Like you say, Alan Johnson's back, Vickers is back, Taylor's back to full fitness. Hopefully, he gets back to the full 3-3. Because for me, don't you feel, Alan, I was a big fan of having the old school 4-4-2, but I don't feel the 4-4-2 fits this sort of players that are here, because we've been overrun in the middle of the park, especially in the second half. And I hope, Alan, that we can get the second half sorted, because for whatever reason, the last 2 to 3 games, the games in the second half will fell away, and I don't know what that is, don't you?
I would agree, get back to the 4-3-3. Personally, there's been a lot of players that have been underperforming. But I don't think he does done enough to keep his place in the team. I think we need to get back to basics. I think we need to have Kyogo up front, and I think we need to expect more in the kind of whatever wingers we play. I don't think they're providing enough. As I said previously, I hope that the return of kind of Carter Vickers and Johnston gives the team a massive boost. But I think we kind of need to get back to basics, and the players that are important kind of do the important things on the park. We've spoken about a number of times. Like, I don't think we can. Snap the holler for that, Joe. It's a go for Joe.
It's a go for Joe.
But we need. What's screaming out to me when I'm watching the last few Celtic games is how much the wingers are kind of underperforming, and we've got kind of 4 or 5 wingers that we can ask to play, but can you put your hat on to them that you would like to start on Sunday? I'm not sure if I can. I don't know who's going to provide the best performance or the most threatening performance, and I think that's where we're not seeing the best of Kyogo as well. I know that he's dropped deep, but he's still not getting that service for the wing that he was getting for kind of Jota, Abada, Maida when he was playing better. You're not seeing that kind of service that guys are hitting the wing, that guys are putting the correct delivery in. So I'm hoping for whoever's playing on the wings as well. Hopefully Matt O'Reilly's he's hit a wee dip as well. So we're expecting a kind of an upturn in the performances that we've seen previously. And I would definitely, I don't think he does done enough to keep his position. I'm not saying he's done badly. He's had a nice few touches here and there. But for him to keep his position in front of Kyogo, it's low for me personally. I don't know what you think, mate.
A comment from Plunge. He says, "Where's big JP tonight?" JP's actually having some family time. He's with his good lady. So I'm the gaffer tonight, and Alan's the other gaffer. So no, the big man's having a wee break. He's with his missus, so he's chilling it. For me, Alan, the winger's probably the. I know the centre back situation could be rectified with A2 at the back, but I think out wide going forward, it's probably the biggest detriment recently of us. It's been out wide. Palmer's not really done well recently. Maeda, the last game or two, has not been himself. Abada, obviously, that situation. I think by all accounts, Aaron, the Abada situation, surely Celtic as a club would have known about something in January. As much as I don't want the guy to go in terms of his ability, to rectify his mind or whatever's happening behind the scenes, surely selling him in January would have been the best for both parties. But it's done now, like he says, it's done. There's nothing we can do about that in January. It's obviously done. Out wide, don't know what you think. Again, I don't know what I'm on it. Maybe the experience side. Good point in the Baz mentioned the other night was maybe James Forrest came back into the fold. I know he's not played. He was in the squad at Saturday. But maybe it's I don't want to say it's his last chance because he's been there for a while and he always been part of the squad and possibly until the summer or maybe his contract's out. But maybe the experience of James Forrest, Aaron, maybe reignite him on Sunday. There you go. Go and shows James that you've still got a massive part to play at the end of the season. Don't know if that's what you feel, Aaron, but I can see Baz's point, the experience side. He's obviously still got something in his locker to the end of the season, I'd like to think, James. But for me, he's not a starter in the mayor, but I can see why Baz was saying that. And it could potentially throw Motherwell because I don't expect Motherwell would think James Forrest would be starting.
No, I think I texted you after the game last week that says that James Forrest wouldn't be any worse than what we're seeing at present. They bring a wee bit more kind of experience into the fold. Personally, I don't see James Forrest coming in. I think it'll be Maida and Yang. And as much as I've not spoke highly of Yang, and even last week with a goal, you're looking at him, how he could kind of chase back or do more effort. I'm looking at him compared to Palma and Kuhn. I'm looking at Yang as more kind of forward thinking than they two are at present. And it's not the easiest choice to make, as you're probably thinking to yourself as well. It's like you're looking at Palma and the first 10 minutes of that game last week, and you're looking at, I think he lost the ball about 5 or 6 times in the first 10, 12 minutes, and it's absolutely infuriating. You're looking at Kuhn that come on, and he just looks like a rabbit in headlights. I don't think he's fully kind of realised how big a club at Celtic are. It's not realised the expectations of the fans and the club. It just looks like it could turn out to be a decent player. I'm not writing him off after a few games, no by any means. But if we're looking at kind of Kuhn and Yang, I'd be very disappointed with that.
No, don't worry, John. We're not falling. Don't worry, big man. We're all right. We're all right. We're all right. Cheers, John.
Well, all right, John. Everybody's all right. I know.
We're all good.
No, but it's a hard choice. I think Maida definitely starts, but who starts alongside him? Aye, we'll have to wait and see to Sunday. I've not got a very strong opinion of who starts alongside Maida. It could be Forrest, Yang, Kuhn, or Palmer. I could have put my hat on who I think would definitely start. I'd probably think that most Celtic fans, including yourself, be pretty similar to that. You've not got a certain starter that you can say he's going to play exceptionally well. I can't see it. If we're going with the team, we'll just put our teams out here. The now we're nearing that hour mark. Hart, I'd say. I think AJ comes back in alongside Carter Vickers. I would like to see Lewandowski there. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be Liam Scales. Aye. I know what you're going, but I'm just saying what I think about him.
I Liam Scales just got scuds or odds, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you what I say. I would, if it was my choice of who play, I would put Lewandowski in. But I think the team will be Hart, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Taylor. Again, another thing, I would like to see Awata come in instead of Bernardo. But I don't think it will happen. I think it will be Cal McGregor, Matt O'Reilly and Paulo Bernardo. And I think it will be Maeda, Yang and Kyogo up front. And I would like a couple of changes in my behalf, but I'm saying what I think it will be.
I think you might be right in terms of what the manager might do, mate. I'd love him to no play Liam Scales. Because I do feel that we need a bit of change at the back. But I do feel as well, I'm maybe going against myself, but we do need to try and keep a centre-back pairing. So if the manager feels it's Welsh and Scales, then keep them. We don't want to keep changing, but at the same time, I want a bit of freshness because I feel they two are no helping us, especially going forward. And I'm gonna disagree with you, Prophet. For me, Bernardo's no a donkey. I don't think he's anywhere near that personally. We've all got opinions, and that's your opinion, mate. Absolutely, that's absolutely fine. But for me, Bernardo's a good player. He might not be.
He's not a donkey. He's a class player, but he's been inconsistent. He
might not be £6 million worth, but he's a good player. He's good at what he does. He's good at what he does. I would never, as much as I might say he's no good or he's no good, I'm never going to call them horrific players or whatever. I'm just going to say they're maybe not good enough for Celtic, and that's it. There's certain players that I feel at Celtic shouldn't be here, but I'm not a manager, I'm not a recruitment staff, I don't deal with that, I just try my best as a fan to decide what I feel and what I think some fans feel as well. And on the team, I'm probably going to agree with you. I think Liam Scales will play. I think it'll be Vickers as well. If it was me, just on what I would like to see would be if Vickers is fit, then I think we'll play up with Johnston. Vickers, I'd like to play Nidowski. I'd like him to play Greg Taylor as well. I'm the same with you with the midfield. I'd like to play Bernardo. He's played well, and then he took him out of the team, and he struggled to get back into his groove. Get him back in the team because you want as much creativity in the team as much as possible. I'd like to think we won't be defending for 90 minutes against Motherwell, so you want your better players playing. So Bernardo, O'Reilly, McGregor. O'Reilly needs a kick up the backside. He's not been great recently, so I could agree with you that he could put a Watt in and put Bernardo in his place, but I think he will put Bernardo, O'Reilly and McGregor. The two wingers is going to be the decision that I'm probably just going to make a stab in the dark here for me, and I'm maybe going to agree with Adam here. As much as I don't think June has been great. It is hard to come on with 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go and come in and make a massive impact all the time, and he's not been great. Let's be fair. I think we can all agree. Adam's probably going to think as well, Alan, that he's not been great since he's come in, but we've signed him for that money. We need to at least give him a chance to prove something. And Sunday's a game to go, like, you know what? That's the money we pay for you. Go there and prove yourself to the fans. Go and show why you paid the money, and go and help us go win this week. So, do you know? I'm going to agree with Adam. I'm going to go Maeda. I'm going to go Kuhn, and I'm going to go the big superstar up front in Mika Yogo. He's got to play now at the end of the season. I know I did say a few weeks ago. I did even say during the week that I can see why, in my opinion, that he didn't play. But now when you really look at it, Alan, you've got to play your best team. You've got to, as much as you've got to, your best striker, you've got to play him. He's got to play. If the wingers get the ball to him and get the service, I know it sounds silly, it's pure Michael Owen stuff I'm going to say here, but defenders will lose your leagues and strikers will win your leagues. If you get Kyogo the ball, he'll score you goals. So for me, I'm going to probably say that, mate. So, but overall, what's your lasting thoughts into the game of Sunday and the weekend, mate? What's your plan for the weekend?
Quiet one. So just watch the game on Sunday. I get what you're saying about the Wales. I think the kind of majority of Celtic fans would have different opinions on who would actually play. I don't think there's any say. I think a few Celtic fans would maybe throw Rocco Vata into that kind of mix as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. My opinion on Kyogo playing. What I've seen, it might be a bit hasty, maybe because he's only played a few games, but I don't see that being any better than Lowe. He's had a few nice touches, but for what he's contributed, apart from the couple of penalties, I'm not seeing a huge difference from my own personal opinion. So I think Kyogo should be up there. We should kind of change that formation back to what we had and kind of rely on the creative midfielders and the wingers to start kind of putting up that performance that means that we start winning games. So I think we should win. I think the Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnston,
even Kaiser,
I think the two massive players coming back should be a massive confidence boost for the first 11, the squad and the fans. So I'm hoping to see a positive performance, and I think 2-0 I'd go with a good performance. But I'm just hoping it's better than the last couple of weeks. So, but I'm full of confidence, and I hope everybody that's watching is as well.
That's a new comment I've seen, Alan. Hi guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Sorry we're near the end of the podcast, but you can tune in near the start when we're finished live. But thanks for tuning in. But yes, Alan, for me, I'm going to agree with you, Alan. It's just trying to be positive now, and the wingers is obviously going to be a massive factor in who plays and how we obviously go in the game, because the wingers, in terms of the way we play, are a massive focal point of what we do, and it's going to be high intensity, high tempo. Let's try and get Celtic back. Let's try and get these players have the lost ability to play that they have the last 2 years, the guys that have been here. So let's try and get on the front foot. Let's try and get a positivity start of the game, and let's try and just get a result. But we want the performance to go with it. But I'm the same as you, mate. Chilled. I'm working all weekend, mate. So I'll get to see the game on Sunday, and then hopefully we'll get a positive result. But if you've just tuned into the podcast and you are new, once again, we are sponsored by AB Entertainment. AB Entertainment is an entertainment company. Alex Beveridge is the man that owns the company. He does do karaoke, bingo, birthday parties, weddings, any occasion for any functions. Alex will suit your needs. And if you do mention the podcast, Alex will give you a wee discount code if you do mention the podcast as well. But also, Alan, if you do like Celtic memorabilia, you can go to MCM Framing Services. You can get them on Facebook. If you want any jerseys framed, MC Framing is your company to go to. Well, Alan, overall for me, I just can't wait to see Celtic playing, mate. I know that sounds really, really silly. I have to be negative for most of the week, but it's always good to get.
There's going to be a turning point, isn't there? There's going to be a turning point. That's what I'm looking for. These players haven't been kind of bad overnight, so here's hope this is a turning point, because if it's low this weekend, then this is when we'll start to worry, because that's kind of two massive players coming back into the fold, and we need to make sure we start winning games now. We've got 12 games left. We certainly can't kind of afford to fall any further behind. So this weekend has to be it. And if it's not it, then we'll get issues. But here's being positive. I definitely think it will be it. I think these two players will make a massive difference.
Aye, on that note, Alan, I'll let you have the last word, mate. So on that, we'll obviously end the show. But if you do like the podcast, if you do like what we do, and you do want to keep watching, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can tick the wee subscription bell on the YouTube. You can get us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you can get us on YouTube. Please share, please like, please subscribe. And we'll be back on Monday night as usual at 8:30. Until then, Alan, it's good to have you on, mate. Have a good weekend. Yep. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.